Hi guys, it's me, Kenneth. I'm not saying here. Today we are doing another somewhat fanfic. It is called Ask Battyshy, and it's basically one of those type of things where you can ask sort of someone does a video where people ask questions and they sort of have the answer, and they sort of MLP character answers it. It's kind of weird, but it's sort of all over the place. This one is sort of that combined with a story, comic story, and I really am not going to focus on the questions part. I'm just going to focus on the story because the story is actually pretty unique. It's yeah. So the story starts off with Fluttershy talking about how she's the guardian of the forest. She lives in a forest, so I'm going to assume that it's the Everfree forest because we meet another character a little bit later that lives in a certain type of forest, that lives in the Everfree forest, and so yeah. So anyway, she's talking about how she's a vampire pony and how she was transformed and how she lives in the Everfree, and also how she her power comes from the moon and stuff like that, and so yeah. When suddenly she hears, when I think Angel Bunny comes running out and informs her that a bat is being attacked by two changelings. So she runs off to attack the changelings, and she doesn't really attack them. She scares them off because apparently changelings are very afraid of vampires, and so if you hear that noise, I have my dog in here, and he has a bell on his collar because he's a little chihuahua. We have a bell on him so we can hear him wherever he's at. So yeah, I'm sorry. But anyway, she scares off the changeling. She says how changelings are not really, they're pretty terrified of vampires. I'm gonna assume because they're probably a lot more stronger and fiercer. Not only that, there's also the stare that Fluttershy can do, so I'm going to assume that's a factor as well. So anyway, suddenly Fluttershy, I think she hears a noise, if I'm correct. I kind of just skimmed over the video, but she hears a noise about there being a pony in the forest. One of the things I forgot to mention is that she also is sort of like, she helps ponies that are lost in the forest, helps them guide their way out of the forest to safety from a distance. So I still assume no one knows that she's there. They can't really see her. They just sort of help her. But yeah, she ends up running across Twilight, and of course this is when she's running across Twilight. She's in her sort of Pegasus form. She's able to transform between Bat Pony and Pegasus, which is actually kind of neat because there's a spell on her, there's a seal on her that of some sort that can help her transform back and forth between that, which is actually kind of neat. So anyway, she says, she asks her if she's lost, and she's like, no, Fluttershy asks Twilight if she's lost, and she's like, no, I'm just, I'm here to see someone, a mentor of mine. So, of course, but she asks him, she's like, but you can come with me, walk with me, it'd be nice to have some company, Twilight says. And so they go off in the forest, and this is, Fluttershy starts explaining that, she's sort of about to faint because, of course, she has not had blood, and, of course, vampires need blood to survive. And she has not, so she's sort of, in near starvation here, and she faints. Twilight sort of runs off to her and says, "Oh, she's not dead, but she's still breathing. But I need her to get her help." So she carries her on the back. And at this time, this is where the voices switch from Fluttershy hearing them to Twilight starts getting asked questions asked questions from the people. And Twilight actually has a unique design. She sort of looks like an actual mage. She has the hat and sort of the cloak type thing, and her tail is actually shaved a little bit, sort of have a long, skinny, sort of, I guess this sort of like the skin if you were to shave the tail from the fur, just have the skinny for the skin or whatever, and it's purple, and she has a little bit of the tuft from the tail. Apparently, this is something that is a tradition in the unicorn school that she goes to. This, I guess, Celestia's academy or whatever she was in, Twilight was in the show, and so yeah, eventually she comes across her mentor, who is none other than Zecora. So yeah, I thought that was kind of unique and kind of interesting, because I'm curious of how Twilight and Zecora met, because in the anime she didn't meet her until she was at least well in a couple of weeks or so living in the Ponyville. So I'm curious how she met Zecora. And also, she traveled through Ponyville to get to the Everfree Forest, because I'm assuming this is in the Everfree Forest, because this is where Zecora lives and Fluttershy lives. Also, something else I didn't explain is that Fluttershy lives in the forest due to her fear of hurting someone. She doesn't want to hurt anybody, because of course she's a vampire, and she's afraid that she might lose control and feed on somebody and hurt them. So that's why she lives in the forest. So I just forgot to mention that. I'm sorry. But yeah, so she decides. So of course she when she and Zecora talks, she basically puts Fluttershy in Zecora's bed and lets her rest. At the meantime, Fluttershy, Twilight, and Zecora talk about why Twilight is there, and apparently the changelings have attacked the castle, and in sheer numbers that were too much for Celestia, and so as a last resort, she sealed off the castle with her and the changelings in it to protect her citizens and stuff. And before sending Twilight away, she gave her these stones that are the elements of harmony. And this is where a part of it sort of I kind of like and I kind of don't like, because here she she doesn't, but Twilight doesn't know what these stones are until Zecora sees them and knows that they're the elements of harmony. And I don't really like this, because I wish that Zecora, like, it'd be kind of like, I guess it's not bad if someone has to know, but I feel like it was sort of a cheap way. I don't know, maybe it's just me that liking the way, she went out to find the elements in the old pony castle. Maybe I wish it was kind of like that. Zecora gave her a hint at the elements of harmony stone, hints where they at, like the old pony sister, and Fluttershy maybe went with her to help her find the stones, and sort of help walk through the forest. This is another thing that I don't like, is that she does a spell to sort of activate it. I don't know. She's like, she has some type of spell to activate the element of harmony, and she sort of gets this like Sailor Moon type transformation almost. Instead of she gets a crown, but it's not the same type of crown that she has when she gets the elements of harmony. It's sort of this sort of like Luna type crown. It's very dark and small, and she has this cloak that's sort of glittery and shiny and stuff. That's basically it. And she says that she needs to find the 5 other elements of harmony. So yeah, and then it cuts off to Fluttershy, then starting to talk about Fluttershy, because when people mention, oh, is Fluttershy alright? So she says that, what's wrong with Fluttershy? Is she been lost in the forest for a long time? And she's like, no, it's not it. It's not due to starvation. It's not due to her being lost in the forest. Apparently she is, starving to death because she's a vampire. And she's like, how is she a vampire? She doesn't look like one or anything, and that's because she has a seal. And she points out, well, I didn't see that seal there before. She's like, maybe because your magic will sort of enhance and be able to see that stuff, later on as she gets a lot better with magic and stuff. So, yeah, and she says the only way to save her is with blood. She's like, okay, I'll do it. That's what Twilight said. Twilight says, okay, I'll do it. And hinting at that Twilight is going to give her some blood to survive. And that's sort of where it ends off of. And I don't know if there will ever be an update to this. But yeah, which is kind of sad, but this is a good story. There are, of course, a few problems that I have with this story. One is that I kind of wish that Zecora mentioned the elements of harmony, not actually saying them. Also, Twilight sort of finds out that she's an element of harmony by just sort of sensing it inside her. I mean, it's kind of odd because Twilight never really mentions, like in the show, Twilight never states any of them all. She sort of just has this hint there because each of them sort of represents an element that they did. Like when Fluttershy showed kindness, it was because she helped the Manticore when she was clearly in danger and she could have been severely hurt by the Manticore, but she was able to risk that to help the Manticore. So she showed true kindness even in the face of danger towards this monstrous beast. And so, yeah, I was hoping that, Zecora tells Fluttershy about the elements of harmony and where they could be at. And she says the best place would look as the Royal Pony Sisters Castle in the Everfree, which I'm assuming that this is it. And she gets Fluttershy to come with her, and Fluttershy shows her true kindness either by help saving Twilight in some way, either from her vampirism or saving a Manticore or something. I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of a cheap way to have that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So yeah, that's pretty much the only problem I have with the story. And I would really like to see if there was ever an update or someone actually did a fanfic, maybe adopted this story to it and did a fanfiction of, maybe slightly changed that one part, but I'd really like to see how the other elements are, because if this is the Everfree Forest, it's going to be next to Ponyville, which all the other characters live in Ponyville, or at least I'm going to assume that they live in Ponyville. So yeah, if you guys want to go check this out, I definitely suggest go check it out. I don't know who did the audio version or where it's really at to look at it, but just type in Battyshy either in YouTube or just in the Google search engine. So, yeah, I hope that you guys really enjoyed this. If you guys enjoyed this, check out my channel. I have plenty of other fan fictions that I've done. If you guys want to stay up to date to any more fan fictions or anything that I have ever did, you can subscribe to my channel, the Hot Tag Nation. So, yeah, I'm Kenna, and goodbye for now.